welcome back to Cutter Vlogs. I know I promised some videos in the past, I'm sorry, but right now I'm gonna do a list. It's not a top 10 list, it's a least favorite list, and there's going to be nine things. And in the least favorite 9 are my least favorite sports teams of all time. And for each team, I will do least favorite player and favorite player to play on that team. Now, some of the players for my favorite, it's harder than others to find a favorite player on my least favorite team. Some of them are relatively easy, but let's begin. I am making this a top 9 list because I decided to do 3 hockey teams, 3 baseball teams, and 3 football teams. I'm not a basketball fan, but I obviously could have done top 10, but I decided to stick with 3 from each of the sports that I like. Number 9, the Boston Bruins. Now, I'm a Flyers fan, obviously, and I just don't like the Boston Bruins. I feel like most teams, if you're not a Boston Bruins fan, you probably don't like the Bruins. However, my favorite memory of them is in 2010, when the Flyers were down 3-0. They came back, got it to Game 6. Got it to Game 7. And then in Game 7, they were down 3-0, and then they ended up winning that game to win the series and move on, and later move on to the Stanley Cup Finals. My least favorite player on the team, or who's ever played for the team, is goalie Tim Thomas. I just don't like the guy. He seems like an idiot. Not a guy I would like to meet. For instance, he just for some reason decided to take a year off. He didn't want to play that year, so he just didn't play. He specifically didn't go to the White House after they won because he was like, "Oh, I don't like Obama." It's like, screw you, man. Just go. You don't have to make it a political statement. Just go. But my favorite player to ever play for the Bruins is Mark Recchi. He played for the Flyers, and he also played for the Carolina Hurricanes when they won the Stanley Cup in 2006. So I will always like the wrecking ball as he goes by. So, number 9, the Bruins. Now, number 8, I really didn't start hating before a couple years ago. They were just kind of an irrelevant team, but they started to get better, and then they started to, do stupid stuff. So, the team is the Washington Nationals. After a while, if you suck long enough, you're going to get really high draft picks, and that's what happened with the Nationals. They got Strasburg, they got Bryce Harper, and after a while, yeah, congratulations. You sucked so long that the league gave you the best players. But, anyway, they started this whole natitude thing where all the Phillies fans would go to their ballpark, and then after a while, they're like, nope, let's have some natitude, and not sell tickets to Phillies fans. So that was pretty weak of them. Obviously, the Phillies fans could still go by buying it on StubHub and all those other stuff. But my least favorite player on the team is Bryce Harper. He's just kind of cocky and arrogant, and he's not, he's good, but he's not great. For all the media hype he got, not really deserved. I gained more respect for Cole Hamels, which was hard because I always have a lot of respect for Cole Hamels, but when he hit him on purpose and said it, I respected that. They called Cole Hamels fake tough. Meanwhile, Hamels is winning World Series MVPs, and they are sitting Steven Strasburg in the playoffs, so that's kind of fake tough. But player to ever play for the Nationals is former Philly Jason Worth. I know a lot of people in the Philadelphia area kind of don't like Jason Worth anymore, just because he did kind of sell out, and then his comments were kind of, I don't know. But, I don't know, I always liked Jason Worth. He was a big part in the Phillies winning the World Series in 2008. He has a cool beard, cool hair, so I'll always like Jason Worth. Number 7 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, living where I live, you don't get to know, but there's a mix between Eagles fans and Steelers fans. And Steelers fans are just kind of obnoxious. Oh, we have 6 rings, blah, blah, blah. It's like, screw you. I get it. You don't have to keep reminding me. I get it. The Eagles don't have any. But it's not even that. The Steelers if you like Philadelphia, you're not going to like Pittsburgh. That's kind of known. But, this is, I just don't like the Steelers. Not much more to say. Not much more to say. There are Ravens fans here too, and they agree with me. They will agree with me that their Steelers are just, you don't like them. My least favorite player is Ben Roethlisberger. He's a doofus. He's a doofus. He's just, I don't look at him as a good cute quarterback, honestly. I mean, obviously he has a couple of Super Bowl rings, which is good for him. But I mean, he's also done some stuff that is frowned upon. I'm not gonna say one of them. Okay, I will. He's a rapist, or he's accused of rape. One of them, and he's also like he was in the news a while ago for crashing a motorcycle without a helmet on and all that stuff, which is yada yada yada. I don't really care, but I just don't like the Steelers, which made it hard for me to pick a favorite player of theirs. So I'll just go with Plaxico Burress, just because he shot himself in the foot and got in trouble for that, which is pretty funny. I mean, if you shoot yourself in the foot, that should be punishment enough. But then he wasn't supposed to have the gun, so he got in trouble for that. Yeah, so I don't like the Steelers. Number 6 on the list is the New York Mets. As of late though, they haven't really been relevant. Neither have the Phillies. But the Mets have kind of been irrelevant also. The Mets, it's just funny to watch them lose. Watch them choke in 2007 and 2008, allowing the Phillies to make the playoffs. You don't like, if you're a Phillies fan, you don't like the Mets either. They're just teams that you notice on my list that if you're from Philadelphia, or you like the Philadelphia teams, you just don't like the teams on my list. That's basically what it comes down to. But, I don't like, my least favorite player on the team is David Wright. Obviously, excuse me for a second, I need to quench my thirst. I hid the label so you guys don't think I'm like selling out and advertising for the water. But I don't like David Wright. I do kind of feel bad for him though, because he is a pretty good player, but he's always just stuck on the Mets. Now obviously he could like sign somewhere else when he was a free agent, or he could ask for a trade. But I think he's trying to be loyal to them. But I feel bad because he is really good and he's just stuck on a terrible team. My favorite player to ever play for the Mets is Pedro Martinez. I liked him when he was with the Red Sox and won the World Series in 2004. I liked him when he was on the Phillies in 2009. He helped them in the playoffs and stuff. He just seems like he's just a funny guy, and he was a good pitcher. So I like Pedro Martinez. 5 on my list is the filthy New Jersey Devils. It is filthy. Like, New Jersey itself, ugh, disgusting. But anyway, I hate the Devils. I always have, and I always will. There's nothing about them that you just there's nothing about them likable. They're just disgusting team. I just don't like them. I don't, and I never will. And that's the end of that. But my least favorite player to ever play for them is Scott Stevens. He was the defensive captain for them a couple years back, and like way back. But the thing I didn't like about him, I remember I think it was 2002 during maybe 2003, the playoff run that them and the Ducks were in the finals, and I just remember I was young, and he threw a cheap shot at my favorite player on the Ducks, Paul Kariya. And I was like, I don't like you. I don't like you, Scott Stevens. But I remember Paul Kariya later came back in that game and scored a goal and led the Ducks to victory. So I was like, we got you. But, yeah, I just don't like Scott Stevens. My favorite player to ever play for the Devils is, I never saw this guy play, but I saw him in a movie called Miracle. His name is Jack O'Callahan. And if Jack O'Callahan was anything like he was in the movie Miracle, then he's a pretty cool guy. So I like Jack O'Callahan. He played for the 1980 U.S. men's Olympic hockey team and won gold. And then apparently he played for the Devils. So I had to look for their roster, and like I like Kevin Weeks. He played for them too. But I had to like scroll through a lot of players on their team, and it was hard to find one person. So I was like, I'll go with Jack O'Callahan. 4 on my list is the New York Giants. The New York Football Giants, as I should say. But I hate, again, if you're an Eagles fan, you hate the Giants. And my least favorite player is Eli Manning. I hate him. I love to watch him fail. He's won a couple Super Bowls, so that irks me. But I love watching him just be bad at times and that face he makes. But my favorite game against the Giants was Miracle in the Meadowlands Part 2, when the Eagles are down a couple touchdowns. Vic leads them to a tie game. And then on 4th down, they punt the ball to Deshaun Jackson as the clock's hitting 0. He bobbles the ball, picks it up, runs around, scores a touchdown to win the game. Pretty awesome moment. But yeah, my favorite player to ever play for the Giants is Plaxico Burress. I don't need to explain it because I explained it for the Steelers. But yeah, if you shoot yourself in the foot and get in trouble, it's kind of funny. Number 3 on my list, it's the last of New York teams that's been in a row, New Jersey, New York. It's the Yankees. Who doesn't hate the Yankees? There are fans, if there are. Are there any actually really Yankees fans? Or does everybody just pretend like they're Yankees fans? Oh, well, I have relatives that live in New York, so I'm a Yankees fan. I'm also a Lakers fan, and I love the Cowboys, but, you know, shut up. There's no such thing as a real Yankees fan. But, I've always hated the Yankees. My hatred for them grew in 2009 when they beat us in the World Series. That was terrible. I hate the Yankees. I hate Alex Rodriguez. He's my least favorite player to play for them. But everybody knows why, so I'm not going to even talk about him. Steroids, all that stuff. I hate Mariano. See, the thing is, I don't really hate Mariano Rivera, and I really don't hate Derek Jeter. It's just all the coverage that they get. Everybody, like, kisses their ass, and it's really annoying. It's like, oh, you can't hate Derek Jeter. It's like, why? Why? Why do you have to respect with a 2 and a hashtag? It's just annoying. All the coverage that those two get or have gotten, it's just annoying. That play that Derek Jeter makes, where he he caught the ball in foul territory, took 5 steps after catching, and then jumped on in the crowd. That's not a great catch. He dove after the fact that he caught the ball. Anyway, my favorite player to ever play for the Yankees is Raul Ibanez. He played for the Phillies. He came to the Phillies in 2009. He was on the team when they lost to the Yankees. But Raul is just a good guy. I mean, he's not the greatest player, but he looks like he works hard. He wants to win, and you gotta respect a guy like Raul Ibanez. Number 2 on my list, you probably are kind of getting to the fact that you know who's kind of on my list. But number 2 is the Dallas Cowboys. Again, it's one of those things, if you're an Eagles fan, you hate the Cowboys. I hate everybody on that team. I hate Dez Bryant. He's my least favorite player on the team. He's just one of those guys that, like, he's like, you hate him. And for my favorite player, I was gonna pick Tony Romo, just because it's so much fun to watch him choke. But then I was also gonna go, I had to search really hard for players that I liked on the Cowboys, and Randall Cunningham played there in 2000, so I was gonna pick him too. But then I just saw some random guy who played for the Cowboys, and his name is Michael Myers. So, like, Michael Myers, you are my favorite Cowboy ever. So, my favorite player to ever play for the Cowboys is Michael Myers. I don't know who he is. I don't know what he did for them, but he's my favorite. Number 1 on my list is the Pittsburgh Penguins. I don't need to even explain. I don't even need to explain. But I will. I just hate the Penguins. I hate them, I hate them, I hate them. The only thing I like about them is playing them and beating them. Like, their rivalry is so much fun. Like, you want to play the Penguins. Those are just, if your heart isn't racing for Penguins Flyers games, if you're not pumped up for those, then there's something wrong with you. But I hate them, and I always will hate them. Obviously, my least favorite player is Sidney Crosby. He's a baby, he's a whiner, all he does is cry and complain. Now, yeah, he's a good player, but there's so much about him that you don't like, that you look past him being a good player, and you just hate him. That's all that needs to be said about the Penguins. My favorite player to ever play for them, this wasn't hard to find a player that I liked, is Ron Francis. He won Stanley Cups with them, but then he came to the Carolina Hurricanes. he was the captain for them. He was my favorite player. He is my favorite player to ever play hockey. So the fact that he played the Penguins, I'm cool with that just because he was such a great player for the Hurricanes that it's hard to not like him. Anyway, that's the end of that list. It kind of seemed like I kind of rusted. I kind of did. I don't know. I had to get used to doing this. But, yeah, that's my list. That's my list. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, see you later.